All right, Hot Ice Thursday, July 27th. Very, very, very limited card today in terms of the games, the headlines. I feel like we've been kind of beating this horse, but now it seems like we have an answer. Otani not getting moved. The Angels make a move for Giolito. Uh, how dumb is this? If you're an Angels fan, how mad are you? Smitty, you're smirking. What is this? This is the big question I have. What is the ceiling for the Angels? Because I don't think it's a World Series. So you're just treading water if you even make the playoffs. How dumb is this move? I don't get it.
It's stupid. It's dumb.
Asinine.
It's dogs and cats living together. It's mass hysteria. Like there's no reason to absolutely do it for Gio, who I'm a fan of Gio. I like him. I've picked him the last 2 years to win the Cy Young in the AAL. He shit the bed both years. He can be free agent the other year. He's a good pitcher when he lights it up. He's no ace. He's not someone that's going to put you over the top.
Yeah, it's not over the edge.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, you usually sympathize with the fans. Like it just doesn't make any sense. Like I think you got to be even more mad with this.
Rico, I almost want to say regardless, if they don't re-sign Otani, and maybe even if they do, but especially if they don't, they've just set this franchise back maybe decades. They literally do not have a farm system. They just sent them based on their only two pieces they had, from my understanding, or what they have left is not much. They might. I was talking to Evo about this before. If they don't re-sign Otani, they might be in the worst spot of any franchise in the four major sports going forward. They have nothing of value. They'll have $1 billion invested in players who aren't good, and even Trout, his back shot. His back is fucked. I don't think people are. I don't know how much the casual fan has grasped that Trout is in big trouble. He has chronic back problems. He has chronic back problems. It's only going to get worse as he gets older. They gave Rendon his contract, who's been, and now you're going to have all this, and you can't even make the playoffs. This team, even with Otani, this team, they'll be lucky to make the playoffs. And if they make the playoffs, I don't see them having real I don't see any ceiling where they get past even the. I'd be shocked if they got past the ALDS. I'd be shocked.
That's where I'm at, right? So we'll expand on this on Pick Central, but the three teams in the playoffs that have the division lead right now are the Orioles, Rangers, and Twins. You can kind of talk me into them flirting with beating the Twins. The other two,
for sure.
I don't think so. I think the Orioles are way better than them. I think Texas is way better than them. But the problem is the wild card spots are the Rays, Astros, and Blue Jays, who we talk about all the time, are desperate to get in. So those three aren't going anywhere. And you still have the Red Sox and Yankees in front of you, and the Mariners in your division right up your ass. There's no guarantee they even make the playoffs. And if they match up against any of these six teams, who are they the favorite against?
None.
I know you have to go all in. You have to show that you have a future with Otani, but you're right. Unless they re-sign him, this is a horrific move.
Hey, it's one thing going all in, but we talked about it last week. Do you trust the executives for the Angels who signed Pujols' contract, who signed Rendon's contract, who decimated the farm system to go all in? This is their all in. I love Gio. We play Call of Duty all the fucking time. He ain't no ace. He just isn't. You got to get a better return for your top two prospects. You just have to.
I think they're going to be an absolute disaster going forward. They're just going to be an abomination. They have nothing to build off of. They have nothing to fall back on. Just a bunch of old players who they give a bunch of money to, who at this point in the career isn't worth it. And Trout's the most disheartening as a fan, just because of how much potential he has. Not even potential. We've seen how good he is, but just the fact that we're not going to see the same Trout we've seen. I think we're only going to see a decline. You saw it this year already. I mean, when is this guy ever not batting over 300? He's batting 250, 260. I mean,
now that
he's got police hurt. I mean, this team is a disaster, and going forward is going to be in a disaster.
They might not be done. You know how teams are always making moves. I don't know who their targets are, but I don't
know who else they have to trade.
That's the point.
They don't really have much assets.
Yeah, they're going to need to think outside the box. I think the move they should be looking at is a 12-year-old and a revitalized Mel Clark, maybe, who sees some things in the outfield. Like that's all they got left.
No, what they need to do at this point is fire the executives and then trade Ohtani to like the Yankees for their AAA team. I'm not just saying like the entire roster. I'm saying actually sign over Scranton Wilkes-Barre to the
whole team.
The whole team. The whole franchise. Just the Yankees have no more AAA. Ev, would you take that? I think I would.
Say it again.
Like trade Ohtani to the Yankees, and in return you just get Scranton Wilkes-Barre. Like the entire franchise.
All right, so the problem
you just don't have a AAA.
The problem with that, Smitty, is as good as Ohtani is, you're getting 10 years of AAA prospects. There's no way that's fair. Down the line, somebody's going to be really good.
Yeah.
If Ohtani agreed to sign long term, I'll say yes.
Yeah, I do it for the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, and I love those guys.
Harrisburg Senators, shout out Harrisburg Senators.
And then what we sneaky do is anyone who's like halfway decent, we just call them up so they're not in the trade.
Yeah, we're sending back down to double A.
The Angels are that stupid. We'll fleece them and send them back.
True.
We touched on it. Limited slate in terms of dog. I'm going back to the well here with a huge plus sign. You got Senga on the mound. Nationals plus 170. The Mets are not a lock for anything. The Mets are not a safe bet anywhere. Coming off two kind of really tough ones with the Yankees. Emotional, how it always is. But, give me the Nats. Nats are pesky. Nats can play spoiler. They're horrible. But the Mets, anytime the Mets are a heavy favorite, I think you got to go against it. It's worked out pretty well for me in the past. And especially a limited card, Nats plus the 170. I was interested to see if anyone else took that bait.
You didn't even have your biggest selling point, and that's Josiah Gray, the little young stud that they got from the Dodgers last year in the package. I mean, he's going to be a star, I think. Like, I see him pitch enough to know that he's got some serious stuff, and his demeanor seems right. You get a good team around him, he's going to be good. But I don't trust it. You know who I do trust? Justin fucking Steele. Going up against the Cardinals. Guys just brought it all year. It's even money. I don't know why it's even money. I don't know why the Cardinals are minus 120. Yeah, they're playing better ball, but the Cubs, they were 5 games under 500 a little bit ago. They're knocking on the door 500 again. Justin Steele, just too good. I also like the Guardians with their rookie Biggie, or whatever the fuck his name is, absolutely shut out the Phillies last week.
Yeah, we'll get to the Guardians, but Ev, weigh in here. That has to be a trap, the Cubs, right? I looked at that and passed. I thought it was too easy. It makes too much sense, Smitty.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm on the Cubs as well.
Okay.
I've been a loyal Justin Steele guy since
last year.
Though.
Don't you think it stinks? A little ratty?
Don't care. If I lose, I lose.
Yeah. Do you think? Judging by trap lines, like you get a trap line in college football or the NFL or even basketball, I think it's like, big time trap. Baseball, there's so many fucking games. You just got to stay the course.
Yeah, Steele's been somebody I bet him constantly. I do think he's a little better at home, but I mean, he's a legit NL Cy Young candidate. I mean, he's been lights out all year. If they lose, they lose. You're gonna give me plus 100 on him. I'll take. I pretty much bet him every start.
Makes sense. Who do you got for the dog? So the Cubs as well?
Yeah, I would Cubs for dog.
All
My
right.
best bet's a bigger dog, to be honest.
Bring it back.
I'm on game one Tigers plus 130. Michael Lorenzen it's actually crazy. Since he was announced an all-star that he really didn't deserve just because they need that Tiger, he's been lights out. They basically made him an all-star, and he's pitched like an all-star since then. He's been really, really good, especially since the all-star break. He's been fantastic. Plus 130 against this Angels team. I know Ohtani's pitching. This Angels team just isn't that good. Like, they don't scare me. Like, I'll take Lorenzen plus 130 at home. I'll take the shot, a day game. 110 on the East Coast for people that want to get action in.
So Lorenzen in his last 2 starts, 6 2/3, 2 hits, no earned runs, 7 Ks. In a win against Seattle. Was that a win against Seattle? I believe. And then at KC went 7 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, 3 strikeouts. So you're right, Ev. 13 innings, 4 hits, 5 hits, whatever it is, like really, really well.
I think he had a good start before the All-Star break too, if I remember correctly. But yeah, he's been very good his last few starts.
Smitty, what do you got for best bet?
Same sort of thinking. Lorenzen's been red hot, 0 runs his last 2 starts. You know who hasn't also let up a run since the All-Star break in 2 starts? Mr. Ohtani. That's why you go no runs first inning, minus 120 best bet, as well as under 8.5 best bet.
Yeah, I'm going to go. You touched on him earlier. I'm going to go with the Guardians minus the 105. I just don't trust this White Sox team. I like that I don't necessarily know if I love all the Guardians' moves to go get Syndergaard. We touched on how soft he is.
Weird.
Kind of weird, but
yeah, very weird.
Maybe Francona sees something in him. They're in this race. They're not going anywhere in that horrific Central. So I think they'll make a run at it. I like the Guardians against a slumping White Sox team. If you're the GM of the Reds, post show, if you're the GM of the Reds, you're trading India.
Wow. It better be a big ass return.
Yeah, with the right return, I could justify it.
Very, very, in my opinion, a very good young player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm probably not. I'm considering him one of the young core there, unless you get an absolute spank dank of a value. But
they almost
who's going to offer a lot of value for him? I just don't see it. He's a good young player, but he's not one of those guys. He's not one of those guys that's like you're gonna trade to the Angels or an upstart team or the Royals and build an entire franchise around.
Yeah, I mean, we touched on it. I don't know if they can justify it with the finances, but does Scherzer make that Reds team like really good for a year and a half? And the Mets, I think Lindor is quiet about it. He hates playing second base with McNeil. So like a new face there, does that make sense? Maybe it's just wishful thinking that I want the Mets to go get India, but I don't know. Is Scherzer enough to do that with the Reds? Can they justify paying that? You would have a massive, massive ace.
I think it'd be close. It'd be close.
I mean, they have to match some money up somehow.
Yeah, they got to figure something out.
The money would just be so far off.
Right. Well, I think the Mets would still – then we'd really see what Cohen's deal is of will he still pay about 40% of that contract, But then is that a bad deal? Like you're paying 40% for a guy who's not playing you, but you got India. So can you justify?
Yeah, he's talking about Stevie, Uncle Stevie spending the money. He's talking about, well, but you guys still have fucking Bobby Bonilla on the books. Why not add Max Scherzer for another 20 years?
Because I think the way Bonilla's deal, like Bonilla would never get rid of that. They could offer him a buyout, but Bonilla likes having the $1 million every year.
Yeah, why not?
Why would you want to get the payout? I guess if he knew he was sick or something, God forbid. But then you have the money up front, but I don't know.
I'm just saying
lower tax.
I'm just saying wasting money away.
Fair enough.
Just keep going.
It's the one day a year the guy's still relevant.
Yeah, the Ravel lives for it.
He literally has his own. He's like one of 4 guys in. It's like him, Martin Luther King, and President's Day. They have their own day.
I think the Reds are still playing Griffey.
What? Yeah,
Griffey. The Reds are still playing Griffey. There's a couple of guys with contracts out there.
Yeah, and you don't get swept under the rug because the Mets are a shit show. But listen, until the Mets win a World Series, we're going to be a fucking punchline. So that's how it is. And our fans act like maniacs. No names mentioned. But, that's how it is. So Pick Central coming up next. One other last thing. I saw this tweet. I was going to think about blogging it. Why is the Subway Series not around 9/11 every year, Ev? Maybe cut it down to just a 3-game series or a 4-game series. It should be marked around 9/11 almost every year. Is that too easy? It would make too much sense. What the fuck?
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, when does what's exactly the end of the regular season? End of when is it exactly? Mid September, end September?
Yeah, October, beginning of October.
Is it that? I was like, does it go that far? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, yeah,
or at least one. If you're going to keep the 2 and 2, just do. I think it means a lot to the city. I think they do something nice. I think that, I don't know, it makes a lot of sense. Seems too simple for Major League Baseball to agree on.
Maybe because it's already football season.
That might hurt it as well. That's a good point.
And that's a guess. I don't really know. That's what I'm thinking, but
that's a good point. All right. Pick Central up next.